Today we're going to do something a little different than the standard tutorial. I'm going to rank some of the plugins that I've used for After Effects over the years. I've got about 10 of them that we're going to put into one of 5 different tiers. So before we get started, why don't we take a look at the tiers? Now before I start, I just want to say if I rank a plugin low that you really enjoy, that doesn't mean that it's not good. It just means that it didn't work for me. And if you enjoy using it, if it solves problems for you, perfect, you should continue using it. Also, if you happen to be one of the developers of these plugins and I rank it low, I'm sorry. It's nothing personal. It just didn't work out for me. But I fully respect everything you guys are doing. If I rank it low, that doesn't mean that if it's something that you've been looking at, that you shouldn't check it out and see if it works for you. Most of these have free demos, so it's not like you're pumping some money into something you're never going to use. So yeah, why don't we jump into it? First, let's go over the tiers that we're going to use. We've got the God tier, which is just a must-have. Then we've got Excellent Choice. Excellent Choice are plugins that I'm probably going to spend my own money on and use quite regularly. After that, we've got If My Employer Purchases It. It might be useful, but it might be useful for only something that I'm going to do for clients or for my employer. So not something I necessarily want to spend my own money on. Then we have In a Pinch. If it's the only way that I can solve a problem, then okay, but otherwise I probably wouldn't use it. And then finally we have What Does This Even Do? And I think I'm only going to put 1 there, but we'll get to it. So the way that we'll do this is we'll go obviously one by one. I will first show the trailer for each of these plugins if I can find them, so that you can kind of get an idea of what it is that they're supposed to do. And then I will rank them and I'll briefly talk about my experience. I'm not going to get too involved because I don't want the video to be an hour long. Let's start right at the top with Overlord. Overlord goes directly into the God tier. If you're not familiar with Overlord, I don't know what rock you've been living under, or you must have just started in motion graphics, but Overlord is absolutely essential if you want to bring your vector images from Illustrator into After Effects, and in a variety of ways, either as a single layer. You can explode all of your shapes into multiple layers. It's just, I use it probably every hour of every day that I'm in After Effects. I couldn't live without it. Next is Motion Studio. Now I need to give a little bit of a caveat here. I have Motion 4. He has Motion Studio now, which is a subscription model. And that's going to play into my ranking here. For Motion 4, I would have put this also directly into the God tier. It does so much. I don't even scratch the surface in the way that I use it. I do use it daily, but it just it blows my mind how much it actually does, and I frequently find myself having to go back into the training videos just to see what else might be out there that it does that I'm just not utilizing. The main things I'm using it for are the motion curves, the anchor points, creating nulls out of a group of layers, renaming layers, some of the cleanup tools that it has. Occasionally I will use one of the other tools that it has to actually create graphics, but a lot of the times I'm importing images or importing vectors from Illustrator, as I just explained with Overlord. So I do use it all the time, but I can't justify subscription models. And I understand software developers need subscription models to continue to make good software, but because I just can't justify subscription models, I'm going to have to put this into if my employer purchases it. It's going to drop 2 tiers. That brings me to Keystone. Keystone does a lot of the same things that Motion does. It doesn't do everything that Motion does. And granted, Motion Studio, he's continually updating Motion Studio now, like probably weekly updates, I would guess. And you're going to get new tools all the time. And I get his newsletter still, so I see there's this new tool or what's new in Motion Studio this week. So you're getting a lot with that if you can justify the subscription model. But if you can't and you want a tool like Motion that just does a lot of the basic things that you're going to do every day, saves you time, makes them easier, I would say Keystone. I'm torn between excellent choice and God tier. I guess a lot of these things you can do on your own without the use of a plugin. So if you don't have the money, then it's not absolutely essential. Like Overlord is absolutely essential in my opinion. Overlord is something Adobe should have built into their software. So I'm going to have to drop it into excellent choice. The next one we're going to talk about is Monkey Cam. Monkey Cam, the trailer looks amazing. You just saw what it shows that it can do. I bought this without even using the demo, and I opened it up, and I was just lost. I couldn't figure out how to do anything with it. I couldn't make it do anything that's in that trailer. I looked at it for probably 2 hours. There's probably a tutorial out there that would have helped, but I don't know. I was just too frustrated. I immediately deleted it and haven't touched it again. So I understand what it's supposed to do, but I'm going to put it in what does this even do, because it looked so promising and it was an epic fail for me. Text Evo 2. Text Evo 2 is one of my favorite text animation. It is my favorite text animation plugin. It doesn't give you quite as much control as using animators in After Effects, but you can achieve a lot of the same things in seconds instead of minutes. So it saves a ton of time. And when you create a look that you like, you can save it as a preset. You can quickly change that look between animating by letter, by word, or by line. It's just, I think I was going to put it in excellent choice, but I don't think that I could live without this one, just because it saves me so much time for all of the basic, repeatable text animations that I want to do. If I want to do something with a lot more control, yeah, I'm going to want to probably just do it by hand with the animators built into After Effects, but 90% of the text animations that I do, I can probably achieve them with Text Evo 2. Deep Glow.
Available for PC and Mac, CS6 and up.
Deep Glow is going into excellent choice. Deep Glow it's such a better look than the glow that's built into After Effects, and it has so much more control. I'd say it's the difference between a flashlight and a lightsaber. The glow built into After Effects is a flashlight, deep glow is a lightsaber. And if you need a glowing effect or a laser effect or anything like that, it's absolutely the easiest way to do it, and it looks amazing. All right, Handycam.
The standalone After Effects camera leaves a lot to be desired. Taking inspiration from camera rigs in apps such as Maya, Handycam was born. At its default, Handycam both orbits around and follows its target layer. The position offset allows you to translate the camera whilst aiming at the target. The track slider makes it simple to zoom in and out. Handycam's lens interface uses familiar millimeter units, making digital cinematography simple. The depth of field controls are easily accessible, allowing you to set a focus target which can be independent of the look-at target. Plus, there's a one-click dolly zoom button. The wiggle sliders allow you to emulate handheld movement and focus jitter without typing expressions. The Bake Expressions feature allows you to quickly send your animation to another computer or animator who doesn't have the Handycam plugin. Handycam is compatible with both the current and legacy expression engines, CC 2015 and up. Get lit fam with Plugin Everything's Handycam, available now at ascripts.com.
Handycam is another plugin to control your camera. And it works. It works well. It's not as intuitive as the trailer makes it look, but it does a good job. And I do tend to like it better than the cameras built into the camera controls built into After Effects. But I don't think you need it if you have to pay for it yourself. So I'm going to put that one in if my employer purchases it. Rika Grid. Its trailer looks cool. Like, the textures and things you can create just look awesome. How the hell do you use it? Another one that I spent hours trying to figure out and accomplished absolutely nothing. I've got a coworker who actually did some cool stuff with it. So if you have the time to put into learning it, awesome. But I find usually that if I'm buying a plugin, it's because I don't have the time. I'm trying to save time. And so if I have to spend hours learning how to use a plugin, it's just not worth it for me. All right, let's take a look at Flow. Flow is just really great for setting up presets for different animation curves. Obviously, this is something that if you're using Motion Studio, you don't need Flow. If you're using Keystone, you don't need Flow. But if you don't need all the extras that those two tools provide, and you just want some cool, easy to use animation presets, I guess cool isn't the right word. It does what you can do with the graph editor. But if you just need some animation presets that you can quickly click and get the same look in a repeatable fashion without wasting a bunch of time, then Flow is an excellent choice. Like I said, though, don't buy it if you have Keystone or if you have Motion Studio, because it's just another tool that will do what you've already got a tool to do. Flatten layers.
Are your timelines suffering from layer overload? It is time to flatten layers. Just select the layers, set the frame rate and quality, click the Create button, and boom! The selected layers are flattened to a single layer, which is a lossless PNG sequence that is created in the background automatically. You can continue working while the layers are flattening in the background. Easily toggle between the original and flattened layers. Fast and light. Speed up your workflow without pre-rendering. Flatten layers. By Motion Codes. Available on aescripts.com.
I don't know. I like the idea. I just don't love it. I'm going to say, it's like between if my employer purchases it or in a pinch, but I don't think I would really use it that much even if my employer purchased it. Computers have gotten powerful enough that I don't think I need it. Essentially what it's doing is rendering out a PNG sequence of the layers that you select so you can hide them, and then you don't have to wait for them to render to play. I typically don't have too big a problem with that. If I have a little bit of a lag, I'm not bothered, but I don't know. I own it and I don't use it. So if that tells you anything. GIF gun or GIF gun, however you're supposed to pronounce that word. Let's go with if my employer buys it, it does its job and it does it well. I don't personally create a lot of GIFs. If you're somebody that's working with display ads that animate and you need to create a lot of GIFs and you need to have control over the settings, it's great. Several of my coworkers use it and love it. I just don't personally have much of a need for it, but if my employer is going to purchase it, why not? Next, let's look at Effect Mat. Effect Mat is one of the first plugins that I purchased, and it is just very helpful and time-saving when you need to mask something out and animate it in. So say I want a line of text and I want it to appear from the bottom and then leave from the top of a small area. It's perfect for that. I feel like once Adobe gave us the ability to choose any layer as a mask, not just the one above it, and then you could use the same layer as a mask for multiple layers at that point, it became a little less needed, but it's still an excellent choice if you need what it does. So, and I don't believe it's very expensive either. I'm going to skip Expressionist for a second and let's go to Universal Audio. Universal Audio, I would put in probably God tier. So if you're doing anything with audio, I think this is essential. Basically, when you click the button in, this is a very rudimentary or very high-level version of what it does. But basically, you click a button in the plugin, and it copies your audio everywhere within your project in a synchronized way. So if, say you have like your composition has a pre-comp with another pre-comp buried in it and another pre-comp, it will copy the audio where it should be inside of all of those pre-comps so that if you dive into one of those to make an edit, the audio is right in the right spot and you can make your changes directly to where the audio is in the composition. So if you're doing a lot with audio or really anything with audio and deep levels of pre-comps, it's an essential plugin. The next one is Expressionist.
This is how expressions look today. But wouldn't it be great if you finally had a monospaced font, syntax highlighting, and line numbers? Introducing Expressionist, the professional expression editor for After Effects. Expressions still work the same, but now you can tweak them in a professional code editor. You can pick whip any property, you can apply the expression to one or more properties, and you can also load the expression from any property into the editor. Now let's get more advanced. Expressionist supports multiple cursors, has a built-in expression reference library, and reacts to most of the Sublime editor shortcuts. It also supports inline errors. In scripting mode, you can write and execute scripts without ever leaving After Effects. Get all these great features and more with Expressionist.
Expressionist, I feel, is... I mean, this is me personally how I feel, right? This isn't how everybody's going to feel about it. But if you're working with expressions and you don't want to work in an external text editor and copy and paste into After Effects, I think this is essential, and I'm going to put it in the God tier. What it does is it just gives you a panel that you can dock anywhere in After Effects. You can make it as big as you want, and you can write your expressions in there, and then you can easily pull them into the property of, into the expression of whatever property you want, and vice versa. You can easily pull an expression that you've already written from a property into Expressionist. Why is this important? Because the little tiny box they give you sucks. And even when you make it bigger, as soon as you click away, it shrinks again, and I hate it. So Expressionist is a win. And then finally, After Effects, the power of expression. If you know, you know it's not a plugin. It is a book. But if you're working with expressions, this is one of the coolest books I ever found. It's not cheap. I think it's $90. But $90 got me a print copy and a PDF copy. And it teaches you how to do pretty much everything you would ever want to do with expressions. It shows you how to figure out how things are named. Like it has this whole chart here that shows you like just how all the layers connect to each other and what each property is called. I couldn't live without this when I'm creating some crazy lower third that has like 200 lines of code to make it work properly. So yeah, that one obviously is also going to go into God tier. So those are my rankings. If you disagree, I'd love for you to drop a comment below. Tell me what it is that you don't like about one of the ones that I loved, or perhaps give me a tip or two on how to use one of the ones that I didn't quite enjoy that might make me enjoy it more. Also, if you think that I missed an essential plugin, drop that in the comments too. I'm always looking for new tools that I haven't found yet, so would love to check out something that you think is an excellent buy. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. It really helps the channel as I grow. And if you want to see more videos about motion graphics and video editing, especially tutorials, click that subscribe button so you don't miss anything new that comes out. Also, YouTube's recommending a video, I think, right there, but it might be right there. So whichever one it is, click on it. Check it out. I think you'll like it. Until next time, let's make some motion.